history remembers him as a hero, a king, a warrior, the man who ended the greatest war of the ancient world. But what if everything you've heard about Odysseus is only half the story? Because behind the legend, behind the songs, and behind the glory was a man haunted by his own decisions. And the truth is far darker than most people realize. For more than 3,000 years, people have celebrated Odysseus as one of history's greatest heroes. He defeated impossible enemies, outsmarted monsters, survived storms that destroyed entire fleets, and somehow, he always found a way to stay alive. But surviving doesn't always make someone a hero. Sometimes, it makes them the only person left to remember what really happened. The world praises the Trojan Horse as one of the smartest military strategies ever created. A giant wooden horse.
A fake gift. A brilliant deception. But think about it for a moment. The people of Troy believed the war was finally over. Families came back into the streets. Children celebrated. The city believed peace had finally arrived. That single moment of hope became their greatest mistake. While the city slept, Greek soldiers waited silently, hidden inside the horse. Not charging into battle, not fighting face to face, waiting for darkness. Then, the gates opened. The fires began. The screams echoed through the streets. Within hours, one of the greatest civilizations of the ancient world was gone. History calls it victory. But another question has echoed for thousands of years. Was it victory or betrayal? Because wars are not remembered only by the people who win them. They're remembered by the innocent people who never had the chance to fight. And that is where the real story of Odysseus begins. Not as a fearless warrior, but as the man who carried the weight of an entire city's destruction. Many versions of the myth celebrate his intelligence, but very few ask, what happens after victory? What happens when the cheering ends? When the battlefield grows silent? When every decision starts replaying inside your mind? Because after Troy, Odysseus didn't return home. Not after 1 year, not after 5, not even after 10. He wandered the seas for 20 years. Most people believe the gods cursed him. Poseidon wanted revenge. The monsters blocked his path. The oceans became his prison. But what if the real prison was inside his own mind? Every monster he faced could have been more than just a monster. Every storm, more than just bad weather. Every impossible challenge, a reminder of the choices he could never escape. And if that's true, then the Odyssey isn't just a story about surviving monsters. It's the story of a man trying to survive himself. But this is only the beginning, because the next chapter of his journey reveals something even darker. A curse that may never have come from the gods at all. It may have come from Odysseus himself.
What if Poseidon wasn't Odysseus's greatest enemy? What if the real enemy followed him every single day, inside his own mind? Because from the moment Troy fell, nothing ever went according to plan. His ships disappeared one after another. His closest friends died. Every island became another nightmare, and every victory came at a terrible cost. Ancient myths tell us that monsters blocked his path. The Cyclops, the Sirens, Scylla, Charybdis, powerful creatures sent to destroy him. But maybe those monsters represent something much deeper. The Cyclops wasn't just a giant, he symbolized pride. Odysseus escaped safely, he had already won. But instead of sailing away, he revealed his own name. A single moment of pride turned a victory into a lifetime of suffering. Sometimes, our greatest enemy is the part of us that always needs recognition. Then came the Sirens. Their voices promised happiness, success, everything a man wanted to hear. Odysseus knew he couldn't trust them, so he ordered his crew to tie him to the mast. No matter what happened, they were never to untie him. Imagine that for a second. A man begging to be free while secretly knowing freedom would destroy him. Sometimes, discipline means protecting yourself from yourself. Then came the hardest choice of all, Scylla or Charybdis. One path guaranteed the death of a few men, the other risked killing everyone. There was no perfect answer, only sacrifice. Leadership isn't always choosing between right and wrong. Sometimes it's choosing between two tragedies. And that decision haunted Odysseus forever. By the end of his journey, he had lost almost everything. His fleet, his friends, his soldiers, 20 years of his life. When he finally returned home, he wasn't the same man who had left. The war had ended long ago, but inside him, it never truly stopped. And maybe that's the real message behind the Odyssey. The greatest battles aren't always fought with swords. Sometimes they're fought in silence, inside memories, inside regret, inside guilt. Heroes don't always return home unchanged. Sometimes they return carrying scars that nobody else can see. So, was Odysseus really a hero? The answer depends on what you believe a hero truly is. A man who wins every battle? Or a man who keeps moving forward even after losing everything? Maybe the Odyssey was never meant to celebrate war. Maybe it was always warning us about its cost. More than 3,000 years later, people still remember Odysseus. Not because he was perfect, not because he never made mistakes, but because he proved something timeless. Intelligence can win a war, courage can save a life, but true wisdom comes from understanding the price of every decision. And perhaps that is why the Odyssey is still remembered today. If history teaches us anything, it's that the greatest legends are often the most complicated. The real question isn't whether Odysseus was a hero. The real question is, what would any of us have done in his place? Fade to black.